So today I've been on a mission, man. We have something so special. Finally, after a couple months, we found the motor that might be the right fit for us. We're gonna go check it out. It took me 3 hours to drive here, but I was driving safe, trying to, not drive fast or anything like that. Just make it here. With everything that's going on, we have to be safe. So we want to go check out this motor. I'm gonna try to film, but I don't want to make it awkward, especially if you're trying to make a deal and close out on a deal and stuff like that. So again, if you guys might not get to see it, but I'll ask or anything if it seems like it's cool, and we'll work from there. So I'm not wasting your time with driving clips or anything like that. I mean, it's a long drive. Just know that it took me about 3 hours to get here. I'm gonna get the motor and I'm gonna drive back. I'm just waiting on him to get back from work, and then we're gonna do whatever that means, which is, hopefully the motor is in good condition, and we're gonna see what happens from there. So stay tuned. All right.
I'm good.
How long you've had this motor for?
I've had the motor for probably 7 years. Ran it off and on. Things happen. You replace it with other parts, and then problems happen. New builds start going. So hopefully we can both get our builds finished up. And
that's his build.
Track day.
That's his build over there, hiding. Yeah, it's okay. We'll come out. Hopefully we'll see him. In the channel, and yeah, he'll take this one for a spin for sure in my car, and then hopefully his car will be up, and then we'll have some fun. He hooked it up, man. He helped the brother out, and like I said, I hope to help him out in the future too. So we'll get it done. We'll get it going, man.
All right.
What's going on, my people? So today is the second day after we got the motor. So we're back home. We kind of lost daylight yesterday, so that's why I didn't film anymore. So yeah, we'll do a quick walk around the motor before we figure out how to get it in the garage. All right. So obviously you guys might have seen or not, we decided to go SR20. Let's figure out how to get this motor into the garage, and then we'll talk about the motor. All right. So the moment that we've been waiting for, well, mostly me, of course. We got the motor. We got it by ourselves into this fancy construction right now, because I got to get a engine stand, I got to get an engine stand and a engine hoist soon. But all right, you guys probably already saw some of the motor. You guys probably saw a clip of the guy that used to own it. And let's talk about the motor, man. Is a SR20 DET. I believe it's a red top, not a black top. I can verify that later. It has tomei arms, rockers, and stoppers, and I think it has a tomei cam in it. 750 cc's injectors, a greedy intake. Already has a tune on one of the ECUs. But it's a complete swap, like transmission, stage 3 clutch, starter. Literally, it has everything that I needed. Anyways, good looking motor, for real. So basically, the guy was getting ready to probably do a top mount turbo on the car, and then disaster happens, like most things. I don't know if he talked about it, but a branch tree fell on the car. He ended up parting the car out, keeping the motor, hoping that one day he was going to put it in something else. But like everything else, the prices on these cars are starting to go crazy, and he just kept it. Ended up buying a 350Z and been smashing on that ever since. And you know, not to talk too much on his project, but basically he blew the VQ from the 350Z, and now he's hoping to 2J swap it. So he got rid of this in order to 2J swap the 350Z. So hopefully we'll see him in the channel later on. Like I said, he was cool people. Man, he did more than he needed to do for me when I was out there. I mean, he helped me out immensely, and I really want to say thank you so much. If you're watching this video, I'm gonna try to send it to you. Thank you, Jubal, and if I pronounced it wrong, I'm sorry. My English is not very that good. In my opinion, I think the SR not only is the best bang for our buck, but I think it's a good platform. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people that have SR issues, one, you gotta remember, it's an old motor. All these motors are old, man. Yes, it's a aluminum block, and the SRs are prone to have overheating issues. But it doesn't mean it's bad. It's usually people try to cheap radiator or not replace fuel, you know, like simple things like thermostat and a good seal on the water pump. And usually, again, when you're abusing these motors, which happens, and they overheat, it warps, you know. And that's why some people prefer the iron blocks, the RB20s. But it's a great motor. I mean, it's light. Compared to the RB20, you could get about the same horsepower, or at least in my research, you can get about the same horsepower on a 4-cylinder than you can on a 6-cylinder for the same price almost. But this is lighter, so it's like, why wouldn't you do it? You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it's like, why wouldn't you do it if it's almost the same horsepower, the same upgrades? You know what I'm saying? Like, almost identical. If you can get the same horsepower and just have a little bit better light, why wouldn't you? Two, the RB20s tend to be a little bit front heavy on the 240s. Now, again, I'm only talking about the RB20. I'm not talking about the RB25. This came in the Euro and the Japanese versions of the 180, which is the same car. We just never got it. So this motor was designed for this car. So again, it's just, to me, it makes perfect sense. SR is the way to go. Don't complicate it. And that's what I've been trying not to do with this build. I've been trying not to complicate this build. That way, I can get it on the road, I can get some seat time, and I can learn. Because if you talk to anybody that wants to get into the sport of drifting or anything like that, or somebody that's been drifting, it's like, don't complicate it. Some people spend years building their cars, and then they break it. Or because they didn't get enough seat time, they end up not liking it, and then they end up selling it after they spent thousands of dollars into the car. That's why it's better to keep it simple. Honestly, if with all the help that I've gotten with this car, if I would have not got this car with the help that I've gotten, I would have just went like a BMW or a G35, something cheap, and just so I can beat on and not feel bad for it. But again, I got some good homies that basically has sponsored this build and helped me out making this car knowledge-wise, and hoping this car gets together from like piece by piece. Because if it wasn't for the internet and my buddies, I would have not been building this car. I have again, I'm more into American cars, and this is not up my realm. So to get this engine running right now, I'm gonna need, as of right now, again, I don't know, I don't know if I'm gonna find more things wrong with the engine or not. It doesn't seem like it. It really doesn't. It really does seem like the engine was really well taken care of. I need a harness, or because the guy, Jubal, gave me a S14 Wiring Specialties harness, but mine's the S13. And I've been trying to find how to get that to fit 240, but I can't really find it. So I have to get a harness, or I have to convert this harness to fit this engine with this car. So that's the #1 priority. Obviously, I need to get the brake booster and brake master cylinder, whatever it's called, so I can connect all my brake lines and get that done before I put this in. I should be ordering that soon. So once I get that, I need to get all the pipings, everything else. I need to get a wastegate. I need to get batteries. I need to get fluids. I need to get pulleys, new belts, depending on what hoses I'm missing, I need to get. And then once I got all that, I should be able to turn this car on and even maybe take it for a ride around the block. That would be awesome for the next video if we could do that. Another thing that we need is fuel pump, and then to obviously the plumbing for the fuel pump, because that's important. Definitely we need some. We 100% need a fuel pump. This won't run without a fuel pump. So I got a gas tank. I cleaned it up a little bit because it had a little bit of rust from sitting. It wasn't too bad. I'm probably gonna do another treatment to that gas tank and see where that takes me. And yeah, hopefully for the next video, we'll have a startup and at least a drive, or at least a startup. You know what I'm saying? But I won't promise you anything. Again, with everything that's going on, I don't know how long parts are gonna take to ship. I don't know. I would like to get this in the car as soon as possible. Yeah. Like I said, I'm gonna shoot some videos of the motor, so that's why I didn't go around it. But motor's good. I mean, it seems really good, and I'm really excited to hear it. So basically, good motor for what I want it for. Should be around 360 with the tune that it has already. Obviously, I am hopefully going to go top mount turbo, slightly bigger turbo, and eventually tune it in a dyno, and hopefully you guys will see that then. Some of my friends that I've been communicating with this build this whole time, because I'll tell you right now, guys, I don't know nothing about Nissan. So I know my brother and my buddies out here that have 240s probably tired of me asking stupid questions, because I just constantly asking them. I don't know anything about Nissan. So a lot of my buddies ask me why they didn't go like RB20, RB25 or anything like that. This would have been the cheapest option. Yeah, like I said, we're talking about $500-600 difference overall, maybe $1,000 depending on what I decide to do. But this saved me because I could use a stock drive shaft. I can use my same motor mounts that I had from my stock car. That way I don't have to buy motor mounts or make motor mounts or make a custom drive shaft, which eventually I'll have to upgrade to a one piece anyway. But this was literally the best option because it shared the same platform as the stock KA. Most of the original stuff fit. And it seemed like for the bang for my buck, it was the best thing I was going to find. RB20s are great, but it seems like if you blow a transmission, you're kind of, you know, assed out. This one, same thing. You know, if I blow the transmission, I have the bell housing for the SR. I can look for a KA transmission, slap it back in there, and I'm ready to go. So for me, this was the best option. This was the like honestly the only option that I saw that was best for what I want to do. I want a nice car, 300 to 400 horsepower, that's going to be really fun and reliable. You know what I'm saying? So I can put some miles, learn some things on it, and just have fun with the car. I haven't drove stick in a long time, and like I keep saying, like that's one of the things that I look more forward to. And also, I'm talking about like $1,000, give or take, with an RB20. I'm not talking an RB25. RB25, add like another grand to that. Overall, usually you're gonna be around $4 to $5 grand for any swap. So again, it just seemed most cost effective, you know what I'm saying? Especially again with Jubal hooking it up and giving me a few extra stuff that I wasn't expecting. It's gonna keep the cost down on this build, which is exactly what I wanted to do from the beginning. Again, I'm not ready to money, and I'm making these videos more for me, to me look back and say, damn, like, you know what I'm saying? I did all this car wasn't basically in the woods and we rescued it. So, like I said, RB25s are great, maybe eventually, but again, I would have to do a lot, and the motor and the buy-in cost for that is like $3,200 just to get the motor and transmission, and that's from an importer. Usually people that get an RB25 and do a few upgrades to it, they want like 35, $4 grand just for the motor, and that wouldn't be a bad thing, but because this car needs so much, it wasn't a rolling chassis, you know what I'm saying? Like I probably spend, I don't want to talk about numbers, but I probably spent more making this an actual rolling chassis than if I would have just went around and found a rolling chassis. But like I said, I wanted to, this car is for me to learn Because if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, I can afford to have it in the garage sitting down while I learn. You know what I'm saying? Because I have a daily driver. And then once it's running, then that adds another car. And if it breaks again, I don't need it. So it's a good car for me to learn on. Yeah, but I think that covers everything. I said SR20, beautiful motor. And honestly, I honestly don't feel like, because some people are like, go RB20, because the RB20s are pretty decent. They're at a really good price right now. You can get them from an importer for like 22 to 2,400 bucks. But again, same thing with the like I keep saying, the thing with the transmission is, if I blow the transmission, I'll have to pay like $800 for another transmission or rebuild the transmission. So it can get kind of pricey. This one I don't. I just have to, bell housing, KA transmission, I'm back in it. These motors are really weak. When it's the SR and at least the KA, one of the things that super weak is the transmission. So ultimately, if I am pushing big horsepower, I'm gonna have to find a different transmission, which most people should do a CD09 transmission, and we're good, you know, but you need adaptability for that. So right now, that's not a problem. This motor and this transmission should mate perfectly, and if they start having issues, I can easily fix it, transfer a different one, find a different one spare, and I don't have to worry about having to go through eBay, wait for shipping, and do all this stuff. There's KA transmissions all over the place, literally all over the place. They came in trucks, they came in not 240s. So if you guys have any questions, just make sure you guys put them in the comments. I'll answer everything I can, whether it's through the comments itself or me going in the next video and answering some of the questions. Don't forget to like and most importantly, subscribe. Help the channel out. We need to get to 100 subscribers. Because once we get to 100 subscribers, I want to do some cool stuff, man. So again, I appreciate you guys' your help and everything you guys are doing to help me.